Hey guys, GravaStar Venus never looked that impressive on the product pictures, mostly because the website of the GravaStar company has been dominated by these. Those are pretty awesome speakers, which I already covered in this video. This is a Mars Pro series and I'm genuinely impressed with them, and they're probably the coolest speakers I had in my hands. As with all GravaStar products, it's all about the cool looking experience, and that starts with boxes, which are pretty nice and set you for a really nice unboxing experience and what lies inside. But before we're gonna open any of them, we have to talk about something else. Alongside Venus speakers, GravaStar has sent me also Sirius Pro headphones, this time in matte black. So if you don't like this power low, the color which I've selected, by the way, if you have seen Aliens, you exactly know what I mean.
Where you want it?
Anyway, they wanted me to present you with matte black version of the GravaStar Sirius Pro earbuds, so here we are. And I've accidentally discovered one thing that I completely missed in my review. By the way, the full review is here, and the feature that I've missed is this one. Now, looking at the case, it seemed obvious that there is a bottle opener included, which comes really handy, but don't know how I've missed that first time around. Anyway, we're up to date. Let's start talking about Venus Bluetooth speakers. These are massive, heavy, and probably gonna take half of your backpack space, so if you want to take them anywhere outside, it's not the greatest idea. They're portable as long as it's portable within your household. And this is where GravaStar Venus comes in, because just look at it, it's a perfect size to call it a portable Bluetooth speakers. And I've got a pair of them, one which is shadow black and Aurora green. Both matching, by the way, the color of my earphones, so I'm super pleased. And just like before, they didn't forget about making a unique and awesome design, and the speakers are truly spectacular. Although the legs this time around they don't bend, but they are nicely rubberly padded, which prevents all the vibration from a rather heavy speaker. Just like Mars Pro, these are made from zinc alloy, that makes the speaker quite heavy and feels really premium in your hand. And to be honest, they are head turning, and don't take my word for it, because I've taken these to work and I've been asked several questions about these, so they definitely gonna raise some questions from your colleagues or coworkers. You won't find that much inside. After all, it's just a speaker, charging cable and instructions, but that's all you really need. The speaker itself, it's quite interesting. This time around it doesn't have a touch interface. There are rubberized buttons that blend in into the design and are barely visible. There are controls for the volume, to power on the speaker, power off, and control the playback.
Ready to pair. Ready to pair. Network connected. Bluetooth connected.
At the bottom you'll find the charging USB Type-C, thank you very much, and the cable is compatible with this speaker, so you can actually charge it when the speaker is standing. But I have to say, if I had any saying in the matter, I wish they wouldn't follow Mighty Mice Apple design school of putting charging ports at the bottom of the devices, because you'll be limited to either using supplied cable for charging these devices, or putting them on the side to use a third-party cable, unless your cable happens to have a 90-degree bend. The front of the speaker is dominated by a driver surrounded by LED ring, and you'll be able to change the color of the ring and customize it to different colors by pressing two volume buttons at the same time. Unfortunately, this ring isn't like on Mars Pro sound sensitive, so you won't be able to set fancy effects that are gonna play to the music, which is a big shame. Come on, GravaStar, you could do a little bit better this time around. You probably want to know how it sounds, right? First we'll start with the fact that these can be paired together and played as stereo, which is nice, and this is probably how I would like you to listen to them, because you're gonna have a much better experience. In that mode the speakers actually sound fantastic, but there is one problem. They are not very loud. Now, it's perfectly capable speaker for your room, and it will fill the room with sound, so it will be nice and, chilling to the tunes, but as soon as you're gonna take this speaker outside, well, it's not as loud anymore and you'll be missing, it would have a couple of more volume steps. It's clear to me that Gravastar actually prioritized the sound quality over just adding raw decibels to it, because even at the maximum volume the speakers actually play really clear and there is no distortions. I think that extra weight helps in here because, well, even if the back of the speaker where the membrane is moving rapidly and oscillating, none of that translates into distortions, and the rubber feet, even though they don't fold or do anything fancy, they do an excellent job in dampening and preventing the speaker from shaking. Overall, the sound is punchy without that lower tones being too overwhelming. Now you'll be just happy enough with the bass, and the high tones are really crisp and clear. So that's the experience if you have a stereo pair. But what if you can't really buy two speakers at the same time and you just want to get one? Well, then the stereo sound's going to be mixed into a single driver, and, well, you'll be painfully aware of it, especially if you've been using them as a pair before. It's not to say that the experience is bad, but there is a couple of things that you probably will have to be aware of it. The speaker will still perform just as good, but the lack of depth and channel separation, also highly localized sound source, will be very apparent. And while all of that is very noticeable to me because I'm used to playing them in a stereo mode, it's definitely not deal breaking. By now you're familiar with the form factor of the speaker and you're probably wondering how long does it last on the battery. Gravastar promises around 10 hours, which might be true if you're going to set the volume to about 40-50%. However, in my test I was running out of battery after 6 to 7 hours, mostly because I was playing the music louder than I would on other speakers. This is mainly to compensate for the size of the speaker. It's one of those things that's it's a main trade-off, and if you want to have a portable speaker, well, that's gonna be something that you'll have to sacrifice. But if I'm honest, 6 to 7 hours, it's pretty decent for a speaker anyway, and you can always hook it up with a charging cable and keep it connected for longer playtime. So while GravaStar Venus might not be the loudest, it's definitely the more portable version of the GravaStar Bluetooth speakers, and it won't break your bank because it's much cheaper than Mars Pro. While GravaStar might not be the loudest, it's definitely the most portable one. It also comes with those really fancy sound effects, which is a double-edged sword. I really like them, but if you're going to leave the speaker at a certain volume, it will time out and disconnect and go to sleep eventually while making this noise. Meaning that if you were trying to fall asleep listening to music and the speaker decided to shut down because you haven't been using it for a while, you'll be, well, greeted by that noise at the set volume level, which might be something you don't want. It might not be the loudest and it might not be the biggest, however it also means that you're not going to pay extra for it. Now it costs $89.95 right now, and you can grab yourself additional 16% discount by using a code from the description of this video. So go check it out and pick a color scheme for yourself, because it's available in 5 different colors, not just the 2 I've got in here. So big thanks to Gravastar for sending me those so I could take a look and talk more about it, because they are actually cool and they're gonna be traveling with me, that's for sure. So guys, thanks so much for watching, and you know how it works. I do not have a posting schedule, so the best way to keep in touch and get notifications for my videos, you know how YouTube works, I'm not going to explain you that. But I have a bunch of social media which you should pick one and follow to get the conversation going with me and find out what I'm working on next. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.